course, as it is, we're in Chicago, and we're hearing jet flying above, and we got some wonderful music going on outside as the people are coming out from the winter and enjoying the beautiful sunshine. All right. Now, what do you think the 3 best qualities that your parents raised you with? What was important in your family? What were some of the values
I think
that were instilled in you?
honesty, respect. What do you think, honey?
And love.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We always had to be respectful to adults. Going on the bus or anything. Had to be
to others
respectful.
as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not so much daddy, mother.
And what do you think that was from?
I think mother was brought up in a very...
She's a good Christian woman.
Mm-hmm. And what was her faith?
Catholicism.
Okay. Now, did your parents share the faith in your household?
No, my father was not a practicing Christian, where my mother was.
And then did that carry on into different traditions in the home and go on to her children as far as what?
Yeah, we were all
the
raised
paths
Catholics, right? That was part of the marriage agreement for them to be married by a priest. That the children had to be raised Catholic.
And going through all of the things that they need to. And quite often in this day and age, I think that's one of the things that's missing in life. I mean, do you guys see a difference in a pulling away from a lot of spirituality and faith in kids that you see in this day and age? I mean, we're now sitting in 2018.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be as required as it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Nor as strong. Because
Well,
it's
that's
got to
it.
be more than required. It's got to be something that's sensed in the family.
Well, what I mean by that is that it's taught from an early age. It's required because that's the way the family is.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what is one of the funniest memories that you've got of this one right here?
I don't know.
In your younger years, we're talking.
There was nothing funny. Because I was getting mad at her
Which she did tell us about earlier in the video.
for being a little bit of a
Brat.
snippy person.
Uh-huh.
She used to run when we chased her, and she'd go hide in the bathroom and lock the door quick. She was quick getting to the bathroom.
And what is your memory of him?
He always did the hard work. He did all the big cleaning for mother. He was always the most exact. Bobby and I were a little bit wilder. He was always
You
a
were?
little, yeah.
So there was a difference in personality.
Oh, absolutely.
From Uncle Bob was a little bit more free.
Bobby was free. Bobby went and did a lot of things.
And do you think this maybe had something to do with firstborn, middleborn, baby?
Probably Dickie probably felt more
Right.
responsible, I
Right.
think.
Right.
What do you think, hon?
Well, I didn't know that I felt responsible, but I was required.
Yeah. Yeah. In other words, were they as strict with you as they were on your brother and on your youngest sister?
I believe that I was required to do a little bit more than they were.
Yeah. And then along the way,
A little bit.
something that we found in some of the records, that there was a baby girl Hakes that came along at some point. Do you recall what had happened there?
I recall when it happened. It was in the early 40s. I don't remember the year. 42, 43, somewhere in that area. When mother was pregnant, it was on New Year's Day. We were having Sunday dinner, which we usually had it in the afternoon, early afternoon on Sundays. And apparently my mother was going to have the baby, and my father called a cab and got a cab and took her to the hospital. My grandmother happened to be at the house at the time.
And which grandmother was that?
Grandma Mumsy.
Okay.
And she went there to the hospital, and then we waited until the next day, and Mumsy came home and told us that the baby had died at birth, and I cried like a baby.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Sorry, that's
she
so
said
painful.
she said that it was best because the baby was malformed, and it was best that the baby died. So.
Okay. And This is what Mumsy had told you.
That's what she told me.
Okay, and do you remember this as well?
I remember distinctly. I can tell you right where grandmother was
What do you
sitting
recall
in the
of-
dining room
what
when
did you
she was
recall?
waiting, and she was hurting so bad. She was, remember, sitting by the dining room,
Yeah.
by the doorway there, and then they called and took Mom. It was a big shock to us because we were not really aware of much,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. And then your mom came home after that.
Yep.
Mhm.
And was it real quiet? And
No, I don't
did
remember.
they talk to you about it?
No, we
No.
didn't talk about
No.
it much.
No,
Okay.
but I stayed the baby.
You what?
I stayed the baby.
Oh, then you did stay the baby. You did stay the baby of the family.
He
okay.
always reminds me of that.
You did stay the baby. And last year, or about 2 years ago, we ended up going on a really fun trip up to Milwaukee to see where your mother went to boarding school.
Yes.
Right.
Now, what do you recall of her going to boarding school at the academy?
What was it, St. Mary's? No,
I
St.
forgot the name of the place, but
It was
She
right
went
on
to
Lake
s-
Michigan, and it was beautiful. We
Yes.
toured it.
Yeah,
she spent a couple of years up there in school,
yes.
and she kept a diary of her time there with pictures and stuff, which was nice. And she always thought very fondly of that.
And she
Time
made
she
a
had.
good friend that was there, didn't she?
Aunt Sis?
Aunt Sis.
Right.
And where does Aunt Sis fit in on the picture over the years?
Aunt
She
Sis?
always kept close contact with Mother from that time until she passed.
Well, when Mom was a younger, she lived by Aunt Sis, and Aunt Sis is always with Mother, protecting her, doing things, going with her.
Were they the same age?
I really don't know. I think Aunt Sis was a little younger.
Yes, she was a little younger.
Yeah.
But somehow they had a friendship over
Yeah.
it
Very
lasted
good.
over all of the
Very
years.
good, yes.
Because
yes.
I always thought she was actually our aunt,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Well, we looked at her like that, too.
And I'm kind of wondering if she was Greek. She almost looked like she may
She
have been
married
Greek.
a Greek guy,
Okay.
but she was not Greek.
She wasn't Greek.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So now, moving on to the year that she's now getting older, you're already off and on your own doing your thing. Do you remember when you guys were having a party at the house? You may have been 17 years old, and there was a young man that rolled in, and his name was Ron.
No, it wasn't 17. It had to be older than that.
Okay.
Yeah, we were probably 19 or
Okay. Okay.
somewhere around there.
Yeah. So she's
Yeah.
probably 17. He's probably 19.
Yes.
Okay.
I
now
was
it-
still in high school, so it must have been 16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was about 19.
Okay, and so what do you recall of this guy that was kind of coming along?
I
and
don't know. I
after
brought
that-
him. I introduced him to the house. I mean, I invited him to the party. And probably the biggest mistake I ever made. Except that he produced such wonderful children. No, I'm just kidding. But it wound up being a great thing
Yeah, yeah.
for everybody.
But at the time, now they get married. Beautiful wedding. We've got the video of it, and then he says, your sister must have said at some point, "I'm going to be moving away." What did the family think? I'm going to be moving north out of the state. I'm going
I
to go
think
up to
Dickie was already working out of town, weren't you, when I first moved away? No?
No, I might have been. When did you move? Because I lived in Indianapolis and St. Louis from 1959
So
to
you kids were already
1962.
going out of the house and leaving and moving away
Yes.
and
Yeah.
doing these things by the time.
But
because-
Dickie was at the wedding because he...
Oh, yeah.
Right, because because your brother Bob was already over in Europe. So at this time, you guys, everybody's already going and making
Yes.
their own way
Yes.
in
It
life.
was on National Hall, I believe it was.
National
In Cicero.
Yeah. And who were some of the cool kids in the neighborhood or at school? Do you recall anybody that was really interesting?
No, no.
I just like the boys, that's all. You know.
Yeah.
No, I think
You
I
had
had
a couple of crushes
I had a
on-
good girlfriend next door, Mary Ruth Shaw. Her
Yeah.
father bought a place of business in Hayward, Wisconsin, called it Shawville.
Yeah.
And my other friend was Carol Killenberg. Well, she was Carol Stump, and she was Killenberg. And she married a policeman in Chicago. That was about the closest one.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time I left, I was close to Ellen Hallquist
Yes.
from high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And